All right, there we go. Welcome, everybody. I am your player and your GM, Nors. Thanks for joining the Hidden Thorn, episode 3. This is a solo playthrough of Tales of the Valiant. Playthrough is a strange turn of phrase. This is a solo campaign, let's say. For Tales of the Valiant, which is a variant of the 5e D&D 5e system. You can find a link to the Kobold Press and its website, TOV, in the description of this video. I also am using this book. It is the Solo Adventurer's Toolbox. There are 2 parts to it, or 2 books. I just have the first one, and so far I think it gives me everything I need. I don't really understand what the second part or the second book would be for. I don't think I need more rules, that's for sure. But maybe just some more tables and things like that would be fun to have. Though, so far this has been great for just prompting inspiration. I highly recommend checking out the Solo Adventurer's Toolbox by Paul Bimler. Shout out to Paul, wherever you are. Good book. I really like it. It works differently than some of the other oracles and solo supplements I've used before. So I like that. I like that it works differently. I don't know if it works better or worse, but I like different, and that's cool. It sets it apart for sure. And then let's see, if you want to support me, you can join my Tales of the Valiant campaign on Start Playing, or take a look in the description below and you can find me on Ko-fi, which is like Patreon. I don't know why I picked Ko-fi, but I'm already there and now that's where I am, so I'm just going to stick with it. That, and I really actually like the interface and stuff like that. But anyways, so if you want to support and then the VTT I'm playing on is called Shard Tabletop, which is a great tabletop. I highly recommend it. It is only for 5e, which means it has a lot of quality of life things that other VTTs simply do not have, and that makes it perfect for fifth edition, because that's all it's for, right? So, anyways, let's get into it a little bit and see where we're at. So we left off in the city of Kronapisht. Let's see here. I think I have some notes. See, session 2, Kronapisht, monsters prompt. We met the Umbral Shambler, which was exciting. The Purple Flame. We got to town and I got a prompt that said there was a monster terrorizing the city. And this is what sprung up. That's like a very, very limited prompt, right? And then this is what I got from that. The Purple Flame Crime Syndicate is pushing dark magic items in the city of Kronapisht. There's been a sort of like a standoff between the palace and the Knights of the Undying Sun, I want to say. I think that's right. Let's see. Journal. Order of the Undying Sun. Yeah. And the Order of the Undying Sun, and basically it's like sort of like a gangsters or like a cult of some kind has basically taken over the southern part of the city, and then that's what these lines are for here. This is sort of like no man's land, where the lines have been drawn, and no one is going sort of beyond them to keep their distance, because it's basically like a small civil war within the city between the Undying Sun and the Purple Flame. Once this broke out, the Purple Flame called down magical darkness around the whole city. So outside the walls of the city, it is daytime, and inside the walls, it is like completely dark, but not darkness as in like magical blackness, where it's like you can't even see through it with torchlight. It's just normal dark. It's just nighttime. They've basically frozen nighttime in place around the city. And Girsa's brother is Provost Marshal Valotto, who asked for Girsa. This is Girsa here. She's cool, maybe. I think she's actually technically evil, like neutral evil or something, but or lawful evil. But she is come to help. She has come to help. Oh shoot! Go all the way down to my. There we go. Her brother squash this rebellion, and Voss's quest is to find the Tiefling that hired Avik. Avik, the one who sort of knows who she is, and perhaps helped try to kill her because she is the long lost daughter of a noble somewhere in the world, but I don't know where, and she doesn't either. Bloodthorn is certainly not her real name. If she had grown up, she was taken to some of the monks in another in a small town when she was just a baby, to be hidden, which she was, and she was told that she was of royal blood, but not to whom, and perhaps even the monks did not know, in order to protect them as well, right? So she will maybe someday, but she wants to find the Tiefling who hired Avik. I think last we left off, let me think here. Last we left off, we gonna just Voss and Girsa had just come into contact with Girsa's brother, the Marshal, Provost Marshal Valotto. All right, so I'm gonna try to run this a little differently than I had been, of just sort of winging it. I am taking more extensive notes and then sort of relaying that as we go. So with that in mind, here are my notes. So Voss and Girsa saved some people. Oh yeah, in this house over here. And then one of the guards who came, they saved him from the Shambler. And then one of the guards who came told Girsa that her brother was down in the slum district, and told her where to go. And I think Voss and Girsa walk down this alley, or this road right here. It's sort of a main swath that sort of separates from here the sort of slums, a slum street from like the normal, home or part of the city in some ways. And then the farther they go down south, the more dense and more obvious it is that this is like not the nice place to live. There's, let's see, there's guards along the way. There's lanterns hung from posts periodically, but not as many as we're up here. There's nobody around save for guards. It feels like the whole town's deserted, but it's not. People have just been told to stay inside and are keeping to that promise. Let's see. Yeah, as they approach this leg of which is the slums, this leg of the city, which is the slums, they see like a barricade that's like pallets and boxes and things. And I think there's like, it's on both sides. There's like one here and one there, and each have basically people who are standing on either on the backside, like as protection. In the no man's land, maybe there's like a couple other boxes and stuff. Basically, things that would make it so you couldn't charge through, right? With a horse, like a horse would have to jump, and then, maybe it wouldn't be as effective. And certainly there's likely archers or crossbowmen watching this little swath of land. There's a lot of guards in this area standing at this barrier, at least on the north barrier, all in different types of armor, but all wearing the sigil of the Undying Sun. And there's one man in particular that catches most people's eye, for he is in full plate mail, though he does not wear a helmet, and his cape is flowing, and it is dark in the center, like black in the center, and then like light, like golden light tendrils are like creeping in on it, giving it like sort of looks like this, like the sun is basically consuming and wrapping up the darkness. He's speaking with another guard, but as Voss and Girsa approach, Girsa calls out, "Ulrichus Valotto, it has been too long, brother." And he turns and sees her, and his face breaks into a smile, and he goes, "Oh, big sister, it has been long." And he strides forward, long strides. He's looks large because of his armor, but Voss clocks him and seems sort of gets this idea that he's perhaps lankier and slimmer than she first realized. The two siblings hug, and sort of grip each other's shoulders, and Girsa says, "You sent for me long ago, but it seems your plight has only gotten more serious." And Ulrichus says, "Aye, indeed, sister, it has. We have been hard pressed. These, whatever they are strong and willful, and have cordoned off much of the city and stopped our ports. We cannot ship anything in nor out, save for a small part of our eastern docks." Girsa says, "And I have come a long ways to help you, and it is, after all, morning, though the sky would not have you believe so. But I am forgetting. This is my companion, Voss. We met just last night in a small town abandoned not far to the north of here." Ulrichus turns his eyes on the diminutive Voss Bloodthorn, and he goes, "One of these small folk. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, small master, my small lady. And what is it that brings you to Kronapisht in such a dire time as this?" Voss thinks and weighs her words carefully. She says, "I am a traveler, and I seek someone who I believe is here, though I do not know his name, or her name for that matter. Only I know that they are a devilkin, Tiefling. Ulrichus, his eyebrows rise and he goes, "You seek a Tiefling, do you? That is interesting. Dark are the days that have come to Kronapisht. One would think the sun would dispel the darkness, yet my enemies have found a way to make it not so. And for that reason I have called my sister here to lend me aid, for she has always had a strong iron will, one that perhaps can see the things that I cannot, do the things that I will not. She has always had a way with people." Voss raises her eyebrows. "Indeed, I have not known Girsa, your sister, for any length of time, but she bade me come with her, and perhaps that I would be of help to her, but also to you and this city, if my skills are welcome." And Ulrichus says, "If your skills align, if the use of your skills align with our use of ours, then surely we will find a place for you." Girsa nods and says, "So, brother, what is the need? What are your needs, and what can we do to help?" Okay, so I rolled to see what Ulrichus Valotto wants, or what the quest he needs help with, and I rolled a 24, which got me Magical Chaos Curse, which is obviously the darkness, and then I rolled a 6, which is Apprehend or Bounty Hunt. So I think it's obvious here that the Tiefling that hired Avik is the same one that caused this magical darkness, and so it's about finding him. So when Voss tells Ulrichus that she is in search of a Tiefling of sorts, he has a knowing look in his eye and goes, "Indeed, I too am looking for a Tiefling, one that is, say, a ringleader of such a kingpin of this rebellion, and one that has thus far eluded us. She has given us the slip every time we thought we had her cornered, powerful magically, clearly. And we suspect that we know that she brought this upon us." And he gestures to the dark sky above. Ulrichus shifts and says, "But we should not speak of this so openly, especially not so near the contested zone. Follow me to the palace. It will be something of a walk, but it is the safest place for us." And he leads them back up this way along this sort of deserted road, and so the only way to get to the palace is through here. Oh, wow, okay, that's interesting. Oh yeah, I guess maybe just like around through here and over to this spot. As they walk, I think Girsa and Ulrichus sort of catch up. Voss can tell it's been some years since they've seen each other. Maybe even Girsa has not seen her brother since he was made Provost Marshal, Provost Marshal. And it's clear that they have sort of lost touch. It sounds like Girsa has been a long way away. Sorry. And as they go, there's seabirds overhead screeching in the darkness. The grumbling of guards at the eternal night. There's like a shift change going on. It's sort of early-ish in the morning, and a new set of guards are trading out in the darkness. Most carry lanterns or torches, and there are some people out, or at least coming out, but there's not like any markets or anything like that. It's like people come out to do what they need to do and then run away and run back home as quickly as possible. The news of the attack that Girsa and Voss, they didn't prevent the attack. The attack definitely happened, but that Voss that helped, make it less bad than it could have been. Word of that is beginning to spread. Girsa fills in her brother as they walk as well. Oh, that's funny. They walk all the way up. Oh my gosh, this is like a super long ways. Maybe they go to here. They go to the Provost Marshal's residence on top of the hill. It is clean. I imagine that the outside is made of white stone, and the roof is that sort of reddish brown, like clay color, and the interior is similar. There is few things that would personalize it. It is very Spartan. Voss smells sage. She notes the decorative dwarven runes that are, he has maybe paintings that are depictions of dwarven runes, and there's a small parrot that he has on a perch, and as he opens the door, it flies over and lands on his shoulder. He puts his fingers up, and it steps onto it, and he pets it as they step in. I don't know what the parrot's about. Just made that up. There are perhaps 3 guards within the house itself, within the Provost Marshal's residence, and he He asks them to leave. He goes, "My sister and her friend are here for a visit. Leave us." They all step out. And he says, "It is a dangerous time. It is difficult to know who to trust. Come, my study is the most secure place." He leads them to his study, which in contrast to the rest of the house and its clean and Spartan demeanor is a dark room with a desk and a couch, but mostly bookshelves. It's clear he has done much studying, and he has a lot of crumpled papers and scrolls. He goes, "You'll have to excuse the mess. I have been trying to find a way to find something that could break this curse upon us, but there has been nothing. Please sit. They all sit down. What does he say? He explains about the Tiefling and what he knows about this person. Okay, so they sit down and he explains what he knows about this Tiefling. Now the question I have is, are there spies in his house? Alright, I asked, are there spies within his house? And I got an 8, which is maybe. So, I don't know how really to answer that question. This is sort of the thing that I'm struggling with the most about this system. But I'm going to try to roll on the situations table, and it might give me a better idea, because maybe isn't helpful. Alright. I rolled on the situation table and I got Ball, Engineer, Murder. Ball is the weird one. I don't think I'll use that. I think maybe the most you should do on this table is 2. Once you do more than that, it just sort of seems to distract. There's usually 1 I discard. Maybe that's the thing, is you roll 3 and pick 2. But Engineer, Murder, so this is what I was thinking. So as Ulrichus begins to tell them about this Tiefling, he says, I don't know much about her, but I do know her name. It is Rift, and she has taken on perhaps the negative connotations of her ancestral bearing. She has created strange monstrosities summoned from nether realms of the hells, and what her goals are, she sees this world as, well, she sees it as a place of excess and greed. She thinks that if only there was a place and a time for her people, for Tieflings to rule, then perhaps things would be better. Or not better, but at least we would see the heirs of our ways. For the demons and the demon spawn are antithetical to order. And he nods at his sister. believe it is why she has been disseminating these magical items, these dark magic items, up until recently. It was... they were everywhere. Small things, but things that would make people act and do things in ways that you would not believe. Not in accordance to who they were. People stealing for no reason. People hurting each other emotionally, physically. Fights were breaking out. It was chaos. It took some time for us to identify the items that were making their way into the hands of our people, but it was clear once we understood them. We found some clerics. I was just checking out the Pantheon, and he says, we found some clerics of Kespotan, dedicated followers of the lawful arts to order, and they rooted out these items. It seemed as though these pieces, they were everyday items like watches and rings, simple things to wear, to keep close to you at all times. And those who wore them and those who had them seemed to embody the very worst of their nature. And once we began hunting down these items and taking them away, destroying them, that was when the darkness descended. That was some weeks ago. And then this creature that can pass through walls and kill indiscriminately when we are not vigilant. Now, he's talking about this, and as he is, there's a creak, and like sort of like a thunk, and the whole building sort of shakes for a second, and they all look at each other. So this is where I got engineer murder was the question I asked about whether there were spies in his house. And instead of spies, it was maybe. An engineer murder sounds like someone's tried to engineer his death. And his house is right on this cliffside. There's just like this clonking. The house shudders, and I'm going to add Ulrichus to the initiative, and we're going to see what happens. Okay, hang on, let's change this up. As the house shudders and shakes, it begins to lurch. Something starts breaking apart. Let's see here. Voss is the first to act. She leaps into action. Let's see, what can she do? Let's see what my spells are. Divine Favor. Prayer. Until the spell ends, your weapon deals an extra... Oh, okay, no. And Heroism. The willing creature you touch is imbued with bravery until the spell ends. The creature is immune to being frightened. Hit points equal to you. No, neither of those help, really. Once per day, when you fail a save, you can re-roll a die and use the new roll, regardless of whether... Oh, wow. That's amazing. I think she's just going to run for it, frankly. I think... Okay. The question is... I have the question. Oh, I'm going to... Okay. I was going to say, the question is, can she make it out the front door? But I think that's an athletics or acrobatics check to see. So I'm going to say, to get out of the building before it crashes, we'll say DC 15. That's not going to cut it. Okay. But she does make it out into like near the exit. This is what happens. She makes it to the door and she pushes on it and it's just like, and it's clear that whoever left, maybe the guards who left, somehow blocked the front door, which goes outward. And she can't get out. And then it's the crashes site. The house begins to fall, and it down this way. All three of these people are in the house. Whoa, this guy's got 102 hit points and 20 AC. That's crazy. So, I think the question is, like, how much damage does it do? It's a house falling apart and crashing, say... Maybe it's more like this. They're all really, really messed up, but I'm going to roll a d6 for each of them, and on a 1, they die. Even Voss. And then I'd just be like, well, I guess I'm going to make a new character. So we're going to do Girsa first. She's okay. She survives. I'll do Ulrichus second. Oh, Ulrichus dies. Holy shit. Okay. That's crazy. A 1 in 6 chance, I suppose. The house on the cliff falls. Ulrichus is killed. And Voss is okay. But yeah, I'm going to say they all go down to here. I'm just going to... Oh, geez. I'm going to need to go up to here and just take him down to, like, 1 hit point so it looks like he's, like, all messed up without killing him. And here. This house is no more. Oops, wrong button. This is the one. I'm just going to X this out. And it fell that way. In a shower explosion, the walls tear away. There's blocks of that white stone, like marble, crashing in. Voss throws herself to the floor, covers her head, and all of a sudden she's falling. She hears the others scream. She doesn't know where anyone is. There are things. She starts to slide, and then she lands in place. Something hits her head. She's thrown about, knocked off her feet, and comes to rest somewhere in rubble. She hears like the cascading of dirt around her. She has dirt in her hair. It's that sort of dirt smell if you go gardening. In her nostrils, she takes a breath and can breathe, but when she looks up, when she opens her eyes, there's no light. She can't see anything. She's like, help, help, and no one answers. And that's where we're going to end our session for today. Well, that wasn't how I thought things were going to go, but it was pretty cool, I think. I liked how that went down. And I enjoy weird things like that happening. So, great prompts from this book. Can't recommend it enough. Solo Adventurers Toolbox. Find the link in the description of this video. Find a link to my Ko-fi page. Find a link to Tales of the Valiant. Find a link to Shard Tabletop as well. And that's it. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time, whenever that time is. So, awesome. See ya.